Welcome back. I'm so excited that you guys came back. We just did the ICD-10 tabbing of your books. So now we're going to do your CPT books. CPT books have been shipped. If you haven't gotten yours, but you've ordered it, it is coming. I promise you, I just got mine today. But I wanted to go over a couple of things first. I get a lot of comments about my CPT book. That's because I do little things with my CPT book. So what happens is this is laminated. Which really translates into my husband. He unspirals it all, and then I put the covers through a laminate, and then he hole punches all of those back in so that I can make all my notes. If you look at my CPT books, you'll see all of my notes that are in there. I take them all apart so that I can make my notes in here just on single pages, so it doesn't wear the binding. And then when it's all done, I scan it, and then I spiral it all back together, and then I have my book done. So that's what I do every year for my books, because I travel a lot, I teach class a lot. My books get pretty ratty, so I wanted to make sure that they would stay good. So that's just a great suggestion. If you're traveling a lot, if you use the books a lot in different places, that they start to get tattered and worn, that's a really great idea. Okay. So I told somebody I would make sure to do that. So we're going to go ahead and get your 2025 books labeled. The really cool thing is, look, you open it up, there's no labels, except they're probably just by static cling attached to the front of your book. I'm going to go ahead and pull, these out of there. This is your place of service. I create little tabs. I'm going to go ahead and label these first, just because I wanted to make sure I don't forget those. So how we kind of talked in your CPT book, I have little tabs that I make, because sometimes our books come with tabs, and sometimes they're great, and sometimes they're missing some information. That's okay. So we just have to fill in the blanks, right? So I do my place of service. I do a tab at the place of service. I also do a tab at my root words, or your root words, your prefixes, your suffixes. And I put these across the top because that's just where I put them. That's just what seems to work best for me. Oh, see, now my book is already getting stuck. Okay, so there's that. And then I do the plane. The planes, trains, and automobiles, right? We want to make sure that we have labeled our planes. And I would tell you, it's important, if you're a new student, you're just studying for this, it's important that you take that page and you label it. Hold on. See, when you have your root words, you want to make sure that you have as many notes in there as you can. And then when you're looking at your planes, you want to label those as well. That's going to be very helpful when you're taking your exam, or if you're doing radiology billing. And then my last one across the top is going to be for my E&M guidelines. Just fold it over. Okay, so that's what my book looks like across the top. So now I'm going to go ahead and take my labels that I just got, and I'm just going to go through and just label. Now what I do, this is just me. This is just what works for me because it's just what I do. I take my label and I put it right there at that little cutout. And then I make sure it's there. That's just what I do because that's just the easiest thing for me. That's what makes sense for me. Then I don't have to go back through and try to guess, did I do it right? Did I not do it right? It's just pretty straightforward and easy. Okay, so there's E&M. There's my anesthesia. My surgery guidelines, right there's my surgery. I want to make sure I label those guidelines because that tells you what's included in your global package. My integumentary. And of course, we know that as you look at the sides, each of these chapters are different colored pages. So that makes it easier for you to decipher your chapters. There's musculoskeletal. Respiratory. Cardiovascular. And then we're going to get digestive. If you're a student and you're just learning, I will tell you a hint. When you're doing digestive, it's important that you know the travel path. When does digestion start? At what point does digestion start? Through its entirety. Like, at what point does it stop? And then I would just kind of make a note on there. I honestly would probably put it right here or on the bottom of one of these. Oh, right there. I'd put it on the bottom of page 346. I would just write the travel path. Okay, so we did urinary. Let's do the boy parts, the male genitalia. I just say they're the boy parts because boys have parts that girls don't. And then we have the girl parts because girls have parts that boys don't. The nervous system. When you're doing the nervous system, I always tell my students it's important to label your lobes, know what each lobe does. What part of the lobe does what? What are their responsibilities? And then we have eye and ocular. Okay, that tab is actually going to be the eyes and the ears. There's not going to be a separate one for ears. Okay, and then we're into radiology, which is a red tab. I know some people just kind of jump around and do them, and that's fine. For me, it's systematic. I just start at the beginning and work my way through the book. Pulmonology. And then we have the medicine section. Okay, so here's where we're going to stop for a minute because now we have all of these extra tabs, right? And they belong in the medicine section. So I'm just going to look at my table of contents to see what pages they belong on so that I can try to put them in an order that makes sense. So my vaccines are 758. Okay, so it's on that side of the page. So I'm just going to grab it, maybe. And then I'm just going to kind of stagger it. Let's do it right there. So I have medicine, and then I'm starting in the vaccines. And then my next one is psych, 765. Grab that, and then let's see if I can try to put it in a manner that makes sense. Ta-da! Psych, and then dialysis is 770. In case you were wondering what all those extra tabs are for, it's just to better label the medicine section because it's a pretty big chapter. Dialysis, and then we have ophthalmology, 774. And then we have endo, but do we? Yes, we have allergies on 832. So see, it wasn't. It's important to look for that. Because I could have just been completely wrong. It's fine. Wouldn't be the first time, I promise you. Okay, so now we're going to do allergies. allergies are on 832. I didn't get that one straight. There, that's good. Endo, we just decided, is on 834. So we might have a bunching of them, and that's okay. Oh, see, I missed it. Pulmonology. Pulmonary is 828. So I'm going to go back. See, remember I just told you how important it was to pay attention? I didn't pay attention. I was like, it's got to be there somewhere. 828, there's pulmonary. So, because I already have my tabs, I'm just going to put him, even though he's in the middle, I'm going to put him down here. So it doesn't look like I missed him. There, just like that. All better, right? Nobody knows. And it's my book, so nobody's going to care. Neurology is 834. Because there we have endocrinology and neurology. I feel like the AMA could have done better at picking some of these labels. Do we need labels for the same page, for sections on the same page? Probably not. Did I miss gastro too? I did. Okay, so we're going to go back to 773. So maybe it's important that you look at your table of contents before you just start putting these on here, because your labels are not in order. So now we have gastro. So then our last one is health behavior assessment. That's 861. There. Okay, so we've got the whole medicine section labeled. It's all very pretty. Y'all don't know that I messed up. We're not going to tell anybody, right? Just our secret. Okay, so we're moving on. Now we have our category 2 codes. Remember, these are our tracking codes. They used to be called MIPS, MACRA, all of those things. Category 3 is your new and emerging technology codes. So if you have unspecified or unlisted codes, you want to check here before you just use an unlisted code. My Appendix A, that's important, right? For our modifiers. So we need Appendix A and B. And there we have C through F. So again, I'm just going to put them right there on those little cutouts. And then we're looking for Appendix G, E, F, G, H, I, J. They're all together. How cool is that? K. Literally K. L is important because that is your vascular families. Make sure that you remember that L is there when you're using those. Q, these are O. Q to T. Perfect. Okay. And then we have one last label, and that's your index. I'm going to go ahead and put that on here. There we go. Okay, so we have successfully labeled our 2025 CPT book. This is what it looks like. How pretty is that? Lots of little snow. It's like Christmas, right? There are also extra tabs. So if you wanted to, if there was something that you wanted to tab, maybe there's a spot that you use a lot in your day-to-day coding work, then you could just take that off, label it. I would use a Sharpie or a juice pen, and I would just write on there, and then you could put it on so that you are labeling the spots that you use on a consistent basis. Alrighty, Well, thanks for checking us out. If you have any questions, just go ahead and email me, Beth at Advanced Coding Services. Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell so that you get updates when we make updates. The next book that we're going to label will be the HCPCS book for 2025. We'll label that as soon as we get it. Probably it's closer to the end of the year. But in the meantime, we're going to start uploading some educational content. So if there's something that you want to know about, if there's a topic that you're struggling with, email that to me. Tell me what it is so that we can research it and create the content and get that information out for you. And then hopefully we can produce that for you.